for a comp, we love to have comps with players. Like that guy reminds me of, and I was thinking about Joker and Brad Daugherty. I don't know if that's a fair comp, but just the ability to play high, low, in, out, pass. Daugherty, I always thought was one of the more underrated players that I saw play. But you got a comp for Jokic?
I don't have a comp for him because I think about this all the time. He's usually pretty good at coming up with that. And I've been asked this question, and I racked my brain. I'm also kind of like a historian of the game, and I'm old enough that I know all the eras. He's so unique in that. I was thinking about this last night as I get.
Joker played the game the same everywhere, every game. He'll score 45, he'll get 25 rebounds. Sometimes he might have 18 assists. And then he might do all of it in the same game, 45, 22, and 14. And he don't miss shots. Watching him play and playing against him is like blood don't ever miss. Blood don't miss no shots. Smart as hell. He can shoot. He pass. He play team ball.
LeBron James, like you had a guy that, in my opinion, I think probably yours. I don't know. You put LeBron number 2, cemented at number 2 all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. And I think, hate to say it for him, but I think he could win 2 or 3 more championships. I probably still have him cemented at number 2. Like he can't. That's why when we were talking about the LeBron Curry matchup, like who can help their legacy more?
Yeah.
I said, well, LeBron James has been like, he's been like flex sealed into the number 2 spot, right? Like you can't move it. I don't think there's any upward mobility, and he's not getting caught from behind, at least not by anybody we can see right now. Curry, he's still grabbing rungs on the ladder, I feel like, which is pretty amazing at this stage of his career. So I just feel like LeBron cemented at number 2. He wore a Lakers jersey. You had that guy in-house for however many years it's going to be. What's it been, 4 years now? How many years is LeBron?
Year 5.
Oh, year 5. Okay. Let's say he plays 7 years for the Lakers.
Okay.
And he won a championship there.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he never gets another one, he's the second greatest player to ever play. That thing's going up there. There's no question in my mind.
Well, it is Hollywood, and they celebrate their stars, so I understand that you would want to have a night for LeBron when it's all said and done. I get that. It just feels like
defensive energy that affects Jokic. He's not affected by it. You put a smaller guy on him that's athletic, he makes those guys look silly because he just overwhelms them with his size and touch. You put a bigger guy on him, well, now you got to chase him all over the perimeter while he runs 87 dribble handoffs and picks and pops and spends so much time on the perimeter that he makes bigs like a fish out of water out there guarding him so much. You can't scheme him because you can't double him effectively anywhere on the floor because of his size and his mind in reading where the ball should go and then getting it there with velocity. So it beats the defense. It beats the closeout. It beats the rotation. So there's not a matchup that you can come up with. Even nights when he doesn't shoot well, and those are rare because he shoots such a high percentage, he does have nights like that, and he's still the most dominant player on the floor. He's controlling the game to such an extent. And I can't think of another player his size particularly that can do all of the things that he can do.
All right, I'll leave you with this. Will the Lakers retire LeBron James's number?
Oh, no question. No question. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I'm just saying the standard for getting your jersey retired has been.
My feeling is that there would probably be pushback of, does he deserve to be in the rafters?
Were you talking about pushback from the fan base?
Yeah.
Well, that might be true, but I think ultimately the organization is going to want to do that because you never even know. They might have aspirations down the road of having a guy with LeBron's mind and in your front office or part of the organization.
Oh, he's going to get his own team. He's going to get he'll get the team in Vegas.
That's probably true. It's probably what he'll end up doing.
Or maybe he takes over Jordan's team in Carolina.
Yeah, that would be something. And then maybe he's thinking, I'll buy Charlotte, and then I'll win a championship in Charlotte. That might be the one way I can supplant Michael.
That would be it
as being the greatest of all time.
Good to visit with you as always, Legs. Thanks for joining. Got to get to the Celtics last night against the Miami Heat, and
because then you got a problem on your hands for it. We know, we're going to talk a lot about Jokic. Obviously, every team they play for the most, so much love. And deservedly so. The guy was playing out of his mind. But I'm on that level. And I think he's had this sort of edge to him every night that bodes well for Denver. Because in the regular season, Jamal Murray's a very good player. Jamal Murray can be sensational in big moments in the postseason. So I think in terms of guys currently in the league, he'd be a good example.
But what is it about Jimmy Butler that makes other teams nervous?
Well, here's the thing. They know for a fact Jimmy Butler is always going to be in the right place mentally. Like at no point is Jimmy Butler's confidence going to waver. Is he going to be a guy that just doesn't have it on a given night? Jimmy Butler's the kind of guy you're going to have to kill him to stop him. And he's so mentally tough that no matter what the moment or the circumstances or the amount of pressure, Jimmy Butler is not going to be shaken by that. And some guys, they look like they lose their confidence a little bit. They change their aggressiveness. Some very flat performances. But now you really do feel like they're going to win Game 5. I don't know if it's going to get all the way to 7, Dan. I could see the Heat winning this in 6 games.
Okay.
And getting very dicey, like a fourth quarter, 1 possession game in a Game 6. And Jimmy Butler probably making some plays in that game to win it late. But there's no doubt that things have gotten much more interesting all of a sudden.
You've been around the game a long, long time, and there's certain players that they play better, the bigger the game, maybe during the regular season. We don't talk about Jimmy Butler during the regular season, but we certainly do the postseason. Reggie Miller was another player who got you 18 or 19 a game, and then in the postseason could go off. Can you think of other players who have that ability to be big in big games?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, I'd look at even a guy like Jamal Murray, as one of those guys. He seems, what I'm thinking is this. I don't care if it's LeBron James or any athlete or any person in any walk of life. Some nights he doesn't mean he's going to shoot well every night. Some nights he might just not shoot well. It's not because he's feeling the moment or anything's a little bit too big for him. And I think that's why teams get nervous about him. And also, he can get to anywhere on the floor that he needs to play to his wheelhouse. He can get to that mid-range area of the floor anytime he wants.
Tim Legler, ESPN NBA analyst, joining us on the program. The change or changes you would make to the Lakers roster in the offseason?
Oh, man, first of all, they're going to have to – I think they need to add guys that are more consistent shooters. And if you sacrifice a little bit defensively to do that, I think it's important because, first of all, the league is not set up anymore to be a league that you can maul people and get physical and just get into teams and defend them. You're going to have to get to a certain number most nights. And when you look at the Western Conference in particular, what Denver can do every night offensively with Phoenix, that they're going to reload. What those teams are getting to 115, 120 with the Lakers and being this long team and they're athletic and they're going to be able to bother Denver. Got news for you. Denver shot splits of basically 50, 40, 80 as a team. Okay, so as an individual player, for people listening, right, if you go 50 from the field, 40 from the 3, 80 from the line, I did that. I did that a couple of times. I was a 50-50, 80 guy a couple of times, right? That's a hell of a year or a hell of a series if one guy does that. Yeah. Imagine a whole team doing that. And that's what they just did to the Lakers. That's how efficient they were. So the Lakers need to add shooting, I think, as their top priority. Look, Kyrie, this talk is going to be there all summer. I'm not a Kyrie Irving guy. I think he brings an awful lot to a team that's not necessarily going to move you in the right direction. The talent's undeniable, but this might be the one situation I'd say that team probably needs a guy like Kyrie Irving and LeBron probably time to answer a question like that. Because in the moment, you feel nothing other than, I just want to get away from the damn